Welcome, Reds, to the 100% United pod. I'm your host, TC. I'm joined again by my co-host, Scott. Hello, mate.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good, thanks. By yourself?
All right, thanks.
Good, man. On today's show, we dig into the debate over Carlos Tevez between Gary Neville and Joorabchian. We look at the latest Manchester United transfer rumours, give you an update on the latest timeframes and proposals surrounding the Premier League's return, and clear up some rumours surrounding next season's kit too. First though, Scott, Neville and agent Joorabchian went at it over Tevez's acrimonious Old Trafford exit. At the time, United fans seemed to think we had our finger on the pulse and knew what was going on. Of course, Gary Neville accused Tevez of downing tools. First question to you as a fan. At the time, in that second season, of course, 07-08, Tevez was going 100% and everything was fine and dandy. In that 08-09 season, just to kick it off, did you feel there was a downing of tools in terms of effort from the optics, from a fan's point of view?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. I mean, I went to a number of games at Old Trafford that he played in, of course, and it wasn't just the intensity went down. He was known as someone who would close down everything. That was one of his sort of main attributes as a player, and even that went down, didn't it?
It did. His attitude, it just stunk, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. I mean, Neville and Joorabchian went back and forth. Joorabchian made some ridiculous claims, almost accusing Neville that he didn't know because he didn't play too much in the 07-08 season. Gary Neville was club captain, so I don't know where he's coming from then. But, of course, the Berbatov signing seemed to kickstart this whole thing. The thing is, from that point of view, it seems that Tevez got the wrong end of the stick there. We had Louis Saha, of course, as part of the striking stable in 06-07. 07-08, Saha was still there, but he was getting injured all the time. We also knew Ronaldo was leaving at the end of 08-09, and Tevez seemed to sulk because he was spending more time on the bench because Berbatov was getting integrated in the team.
Yeah, and playing really well. Berbatov was playing fantastically. It wasn't as though he wasn't scoring any goals, and it was a decision that wasn't bearing any fruit, right?
Yeah.
It didn't make sense.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't seem to make sense. And also the claims from Joorabchian that Tevez has never been unprofessional, which were just ridiculous. I mean, he went on strike at City, and he also refused to come on as a sub, didn't he, against Bayern Munich, I believe, when he was playing for City.
This whole thing came out, and I'm sitting here thinking, what is the best result we're going to get out of this? Gary Neville sitting in his house saying, yeah, I'm right, Tevez down tools, blah, blah, blah. Or Joorabchian's obviously going to be on Tevez's side saying, no, he didn't. So no one's ever going to concede fault to this. This is just another one of those things to do for the day, it seems.
Yeah, the thing is, when Joorabchian obviously knows and knew what was going on at the time, the problem is that he's saying that they didn't discuss things with United. He's saying that City only came in May. Now, in early December of 08, Fergie said that there was negotiations going on with Gill and Joorabchian. So Tevez came out a couple of weeks later saying he feels respected by the teammates and staff and all the rest of it. So it seemed that he wanted to push a deal through too. And then in early January 09, Tevez said himself, we agreed to sit down at the end of the season. There's no reason to sit down now. Got a great relationship with Sir Alex. Hope it continues long into the future, blah, blah, blah. So they had agreed to talk after the season ends. Now, Joorabchian said that at no time in the 2 years did United offer a contract. Well, in December, Tevez has said that we can sit at the end of the season because my contract doesn't finish till the end of June.
Yeah, he's lying. He's a liar.
Yeah.
How are we going to trust him? You know?
Well, we're not. And then the thing...
It's ridiculous. And it's like we're trying to pick apart the character for someone who then moved across and went to City and stuck two fingers up to all of us. So it's obvious he's a piece of filth.
Yeah.
And now we're trying to decipher when did he become such a piece of filth? You know?
Well, I guess when the dollar bills started waving. I mean, people who don't know who Joorabchian is he was the original Mino Raiola, wasn't he? Basically, I know some of the younger people probably don't know how bad he was. Third-party ownerships. I mean, Tevez and Mascherano turned up at West Ham that day, didn't they? Out of nowhere. And he moved Tevez however many times, from Boca to Corinthians, West Ham United, United City, City Juventus, and got a cut every time, Mino Raiola style.
Yeah. So he's not exactly the most utmost of character people, you know?
No. And the thing that really stunk at the time was, of course, maybe 2 or 3 weeks before the Champions League final, Tevez started talking about leaving United when he had already said in December. I remember it split the fan base a little bit at the time, didn't it? We had people, even in Old Trafford was singing Fergie, sign him up, as if they knew more than the great man himself. And then after he left, he said that Fergie never called me, never texted me, and all the rest of it. So yeah, it was a bizarre one. But I mean, what do you think? I mean, people rave about that front three in 07-08. I personally preferred the football. I thought we were a better team in terms of attacking style in 06-07.
Yeah.
What do you think of that?
Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, Tevez did certainly bring something to the team. It was more of the desire that he brought. And then when he stopped bringing that, it was just so obvious and made us, and then you're right, all that stuff came out before the Champions League final. And it was obvious to us he wasn't in it for the team, right? He was only in it for himself.
Yeah, I think in 07-08, the great thing that Rooney and Tevez brought was that they were willing to play second fiddle to Ronaldo, let Ronaldo run free, banging 42 goals. Not saying Tevez and Rooney aren't absolute class as well in terms of a support striker, but they were the perfect foil for Ronaldo, I think, with Ronaldo's growing ego and influence. And then, of course, we went on into the Berbatov years. We lost Zaha. I thought Zaha brought loads to the team with his pace, with his hold-up play. And don't forget, at times, Tevez's touch, when his brain wasn't on it, was, I know people like to slag Lukaku's touch off in his United years, but at times it was bouncing off Tevez all over the place, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm. But he did score some really important goals. Let's remember.
He did. And you know what I think with Tevez is that when you look at throughout his career, if he gets benched, then he pulls an absolute hissy fit, doesn't he? That's what he did at City. It's what he did at United. If he's playing, he's a good player. He's willing to play second fiddle on the pitch. But it's just once you bench him, then you've got all sorts of trouble. So yeah, I mean, the Joorabchian story is easily picked apart. And as I say, he was the original evil agent to us watching football from the outside. So I mean, it says it all when he says that Barca and Madrid also offered him a contract and he went to City. Well, I wonder why he went there.
Yeah, absolutely,
unbelievable. Yeah. Well, we'll leave that there. But another blast from the past. Do you see the Gary Lineker and Nick Hancock coming out? Obviously, they think it's all over back in the 90s and 2000s. And remember, they used to slag off Luke Chadwick every week, abusing him for his looks. You wouldn't get away with that these days, would you? They've actually come out and apologised after Luke Chadwick said it. It was interesting stuff, wasn't it, from Chadwick? Basically saying, look, he was obviously a talented footballer. He was groomed to go into the United first team, of course. But he said, I was a shy lad. I didn't have the confidence. And it sort of gave you that sort of insight into a young footballer's brain, sometimes overlooked, I think.
Yeah, it was tantamount to bullying, right? You're right. It would never happen now. And those people should sort of be ashamed of themselves. Yeah. And it's funny, isn't it? You look at that cast, you got Lineker, he doesn't look normal. You got that other guy, Rory McGrath, he doesn't look normal. God, yeah. Right? They're all it's all a bloody crew of sideshows up there, taking the piss out of people who are actually doing something. Yeah, you look back on it and you're like, yeah, what were we thinking with that?
Yeah. It's really weird stuff, wasn't it? I mean, it shows what a massive story United were. That one of our basically our subs or reserves would be every week, wasn't it? Every week they were going at him. But the mad thing Chadwick did was watch it. He said, I watched it hoping they'd stop. Just switch it off, mate. Don't bother. Yeah. He wouldn't have lasted in this day and age of Twitter, would he?
No, that's a good point.
Wouldn't have lasted 2 seconds. But yeah, on to another United youth prospect. It's bad news coming out. The rumours coming out about Angel Gomes. Yeah. They're saying that he's asking for 30 grand a week. We're not budging. And the new rumour is that Chelsea are moving him for him. That wouldn't be good news at all, would it?
No, I think... Well, it's sort of similar with that Tevez thing, right? Like, he's complaining that he's not getting first-team football, not getting enough money, or whatever. So the one team you wouldn't want to move to is Chelsea, right? Who are just famous for farming off loan products and for players never getting a chance. You look at Loftus-Cheek, you look at Ross Barkley, a few others who have moved there and their careers are completely stalled. So it's another one. I get it if you want to leave. I get it if you want to make a bit more money, but don't go to Chelsea. It's just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, we're running out of time of it now on Gomes, aren't we? Are you worried we're actually going to lose him now? I am.
Yeah, I am. I think I've read him his last rites.
Yeah. It's interesting, isn't it? United haven't got a good history in loaning players out. Of course, back in the day when we used to, Beckham went to Preston North End and stuff like that, it seemed to work nicely. But we had real bad loans throughout the years, didn't we? I think Giuseppe Rossi went to Newcastle, couldn't get a game, could he?
Yeah.
But we've had some bad luck with loans. What do you think? Do we need to restructure that? I'm hearing that James Garner is going to go out on loan next season. Do we need to have a look at that and use loans in a bit more of an effective way? Because it seems as a club, once someone goes out on loan, it's quite rare that they come back and flourish.
Yeah, I'm not too sure that if that's the worry about Gomes in this case. I think he wants parity to what Chong was offered, and we don't want to offer him that. And it seems like they're arguing over $5,000 a week or something like that. And I mean, it would be such a huge shame because that is a player that we'd probably buy back for 100 million quid in 5 years' time if he does really well. And here we are arguing about $5,000 a week.
Yeah, they're talking about it being another Pogba situation, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think I rate Gomez very highly. I know you do too, and he is one of those ones that I do think should be getting an opportunity. But now we've got Bruno in there. Opportunities are going to be few and far between in the first team, and you really have to take your chance, don't you? Greenwood's getting chances because he keeps on banging goals in and performing. But Gomez, I don't know if it's his size that's playing against him a little bit, or the position he plays in. But yeah, it looks like he might be out the door, unfortunately.
Well, he had a really good pre-season, didn't he? And I thought he could maybe kick on from there, and just hasn't happened.
Yeah. And what would you do, Garner? What do you reckon? Would you put him down to the Championship or look for another Premier League club and risk him not playing like some of our loan signings in the past have?
I'd probably loan him to a Championship club. Hopefully he plays 30, 40 games a year.
Yeah.
I know, in a league that's actually improving, that Championship, I think it'd be a pretty good experience.
Yeah, I do too, actually. I'd like to see him get loads of minutes because he is one who could really hit the top, I think.
Mm-hmm.
We've been following him for a little while, haven't we? More Paul Pogba rumours popping up. L'Équipe, reputable news outlet from France, have said that Juve are close to a deal now for Pogba. We've heard this before, haven't we? I don't know, you're off the pod last week, but I said that Juve have actually introduced a wage cap of £151,000 per week. So I'm not sure how that adds up, whether the wage cap is true or whether this Juve are close to getting Pogba back is true instead.
Maybe we'll be paying the rest of his wages.
Oh, don't you start. God, that really would be the final nail in the Pogba coffin, wouldn't it?
Oh, sorry, we can only pay 150. Oh, don't worry, we'll pay the other 250.
Yeah. Different news in terms of an incoming transfer. We're being linked to Milan Skriniar now of Inter Milan. I know we've been keen on him in the past. Inter are basically looking to cash in now. Italian football is all football, of course, is down on the cash, but Italian football especially. £52 million. What do you reckon about that? Would you be a goer for that? The people are saying that Ollie wants another partner to compete with Lindelof alongside Maguire.
I mean, I think we've got that in Bailly and Tuanzebe, right? We've got 4 pretty good centre backs. I don't know how much money we do have to spend this summer. I've said it 100 times. I hope we spend all our money on the wingers.
Yeah. Well, now people are saying that, as we intimated a few weeks ago, actually, that we might be trying to push the button a bit harder than other teams this summer, just because of our massive resources from different directions, and that we've got so many revenue streams that we could actually use this summer to close the gap a little bit, a gap that's open between us and the top. Skriniar, I mean, he's a player I rate. £52 million. I don't know if it's spent in the right place, but if Eric Bailly could be guaranteed to be fit all season, he's kind of like the same. We mentioned Louis Saha early in the season. It's kind of one of those ones where you think you've got him, but then he disappears for months and months of the season, and then you're down to just Tuanzebe backing up, aren't you?
Yeah, it's definitely one of those we've got to keep an eye on.
Well, Jadon Sancho was looking a bit worse for wear, wasn't he, after a couple of months off?
Not as bad as Hudson-Odoi.
Yeah. Did you catch any of the Bundesliga?
I did.
Yeah. What did you think?
It's not the same without fans.
It's not, is it?
It's not.
It's really weird. It's really weird. It's interesting, actually. There was a survey done on behind closed doors matches, and normally a home team will win on average 46% of their games. That goes down to 36 behind closed doors, and away teams win 34%. So that was an interesting one. Only Dortmund won out of the Bundesliga teams who played at home. Mm-hmm. So that's another one to the whole debate of whether we should finish this season.
Yeah.
And actually, the Premier League have just now passed that the teams are going to return to training tomorrow. So we are moving a bit closer. Apparently, they pushed back the finish to a potential 22nd of August finish now, which would sort of it'd be mad for the teams who are getting to the final stages of the Europa League and Champions League, wouldn't it, in terms of congestion?
Yeah.
There's actually 3 different methods now they're talking about if the season was to be cancelled that they would use to determine. It's either the points per game, the home and away method, and now they're doing this new one, which seems bananas to me, is a computer statistical model to finish the season based on form and all the rest of it. It seems like they're opening a whole new can of worms, isn't it?
Ridiculous.
I mean, the thing is with these computer models is that, and this is what they discussed at the Premier League meeting the other day, with these computer models, is that whatever you program it to put in, you get out, right?
Exactly. You can't program randomness.
No. That's how this whole pandemic started with computer models basically saying, 500,000 people, and then they follow that, and whatever you put in, you basically get out. That would be a legal minefield.
No, and it's completely untested. It's like, here's something we've never tried before. Let's give this a go.
It's mental. I think you've either got to null and void it. You've either got to say that everyone finishes where they are now, or that's it. Really, I think if it went to home and away, West Ham would go down, wouldn't they? They'd drop 4 or 5 places into the relegation zone. So yeah, I mean that's bananas. But that's the problem. They're having a meeting every week, and more players are now coming out and saying they don't want to play, and that's apparently the only thing that's going to kibosh it now. Is that if enough players come out and say we don't want to play, otherwise they're just going to push through.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Apparently, the way they're going to test them is that the Premier League will only be notified of how many players from each club have tested positive. So now clubs are saying that certain clubs will, if a player tests positive but he's not showing any symptoms, will switch it. We'll switch a lesser player for a star player in order to keep up. So it's all getting very, very messy indeed.
Horrendous.
Yeah, exactly. Are you still up for just cancelling it all off?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I actually we did a poll on the Instagram story the other day whether everyone thinks that the season will be cancelled or whether we'll complete it, and it was 50-50 straight down the middle. That's never happened before, so we will see. You seen the kit leaks?
Was it only you and me that voted?
No. We got plenty of votes actually. Not bad at all.
Oh, I did. I was just kidding.
Do you see the latest kit leaks? Everyone's been saying that the new kit has been leaked. Did you see that?
Yeah, I did. It's horrific.
It's horrific. Well, luckily,
it is.
Luckily, it's apparently not the final one. It's obviously based on details. That pattern came from a leaked ball for next season, which most of the designs get leaked on. It was actually designed by a Pro Evo kit maker based on details released, and now someone's obviously made a proper kit of that, so it might not have that ghastly pattern all over, because we're going to be a laughing stock with that, aren't we?
Yeah, we should cancel next season as well if we're going to be wearing that.
Yeah. Oh god, I mean it's going to be a new low. They're actually saying that next season would potentially start in mid-September. So if this league season finished on the 22nd of August, they'd start again in mid-September, because I'm thinking we got the Euros next summer,
then the World Cup the year after.
Yeah,
and that's going to be in November.
What do you think they'll do? Do you think they will keep the World Cup there? I suppose that works in their favour with it being a Winter World Cup, doesn't it?
I don't know, because at least in the summer they would be able to postpone things. But I don't know. They're going to need to take a month and a half off for the World Cup as well.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Of course, the players have been off for weeks. Apparently, the managers are arguing. Mourinho particularly wants more time, doesn't he, in terms of preparation?
Of course he does.
But everyone's got a bit of skin in the game, haven't they? Everyone's got their own best interests at heart.
Making 15 million quid a year, you'd want a few more weeks too.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy stuff. But yeah, luckily that is not the final design. I'm hoping we don't have that pattern all over it. I'm hoping it's just a trim on the arm or something. But I do fear it might be all down the front, like we've had a bad night out.
I mean, a positive at least is that the third kit's going to be twice as bad. So it's going to detract a lot of attention.
What the Dazzle camo?
Dazzle camo, yeah.
Oh man, it's just incredible, isn't it?
Looking like one of the bloody Happy Mondays.
I know, and I've been watching some of the old games, back in the early 90s and in the 80s, and Adidas have got so much to work with. They made so many nice kits: the white away kits, blue away kits, lovely red kits, simple with a nice trim. They've got all the ammo. All they need to do is reinvent a few of them and we'll all be blooming laughing.
Even the Bayern kit that they were in this weekend, white with silver stripes, look nice and plain. Yeah. Why can't we just get one of those? Why can't we just get a normal kit?
I know. Even the Arsenal kit, the new one. I mean, it's a nice Arsenal kit, isn't it? It's classic Arsenal pattern. Yeah, I don't know what they're doing, but we say that every time we talk about the kits these days, don't we?
Yeah, they're getting worse.
They really are. Let's hope. Yeah, it's unbelievable. Anyway, thanks for joining us again, everyone. Make sure you subscribe if you love the pod and get following our Instagram at United100 Podcast. And make sure you're voting on our story polls too. We'll be back on Friday. Until then, thanks for joining me again, Scott.
Thank you, UTC.
Take care. Cheerio, Reds.
Ta-ra.